What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by. J-Steele RC here again. I don't want to talk too much. I kind of like just getting into the build, but just behind me, what I got here, I did get a Gen 8, the Scout. It was on sale recently. I'm sure most of you know. I did pick one up, just because, in my opinion, I have less than a year of experience in RC crawling, but from what I can tell, for the money when it was on sale, it's a really good bang for your buck deal as far as a ready to run crawler. It didn't come with a battery, so it's not technically ready to run, but um, it is. One thing I don't like is it's on the bulky side a little bit. It's not like overly heavy. It's just the body is very large, which does kind of attribute the real life Scout. It was kind of a larger vehicle. But as far as 1/10 scale, it's kind of on the bigger side of that. So, what I got right here on the bench, I bought everything that I think will help counteract the, it's kind of top heavy. If you try and climb up a very sharp angle, it has a tough time. It likes to tip over backwards pretty easily, surprisingly easy. So I figured, well, it's a big vehicle for 1/10, so I'll just get a big amount of weight down low, help lower the center of gravity for the total amount of weight that is there. And I also wanted to go with bigger tires. So for the tires, I wanted to go a little bit bigger. So these are this is a 4.75. This is what typically comes on most crawlers. It's a 1.9 inch wheel. These are also a 1.9 inch wheel. But these are basically a 1.9 XL tire. So what these are is these are the Pro-Line Super Swampers, the TSL Boggers, the XLs. And these are in the G8 compound. They do come with a it's not overly firm. It is more firm than like the Deepwoods or like a Hyrax, like any of the foams that come in the Predators. It is a little bit tougher, so it just gives you a little bit better of a base to build a heavier weight truck on. So that's why I'm going with those. They give you a little bit better clearance. I realize it's not super in scale, but they look really good on here. As far as the center of gravity issue, basically what I'm doing here is I'm going all metal axles. So I have the axle housings here. These are all aluminum. These are some brass caster arms or C-arms. I do have the portal inner and outers to complete the entire portal box on each side for the front. Those are going to add some weight. I also picked up from Buy Once, Cry Once or BOCO. This is a SOA mount or an SOA swap mount. This puts the servo on top of the axle versus in the chassis. This is also a 4-link swap. So I'm going servo on axle and also a 4-link from 3-link with a panhard. So that's going to give me just a little bit better so one thing I noticed right out of the box is the steering has more to offer. There's better out there. This is what I mean by that. So with this on there, putting the servo on the axle, it's just going to give it better leverage overall. It'll make the same power or the same torque servo more effective. It'll also give you, it'll eliminate all bump steer. Bump steer is basically, so as the suspension travels up and down on a 3-link, the axle kicks out to the side. Let me see, I'm not sure if you can see that. But you can see the axle traveling upwards and that way because it has to follow the panhard geometry here. So with this 4-link swap, I'm able to run one of these links here from my various assortment of links that I have laying around. I'm going to match one with the current upper control link there, the current 3-link. To make it a 4-link, put the servo on the axle, and that should fix any issues because these are quite a bit bigger. You need a little bit better leverage, a little bit better geometry to turn these effectively when you're in a pinch and things like that. So I am going to upgrade the servo. As far as the weight goes in the wheels, I did put these are Injora brass inner rings for bead locks. They are on the insides of the fronts here, and I also put some brass. They're just discs basically. I believe they're 53 or 50-ish grams. So in comparison, I got my scale here. This is what I had on the front of one of my crawlers. These are very good tires, by the way. These Duratrax Deepwoods. I highly recommend these, especially if you're just looking for something kind of out of the box, ready to throw on. You're not really worried about weight. These give you a tremendous amount of grip for the value that you pay for them. It's insane. These keep up with Hyraxes in the right environment. So as far as the weight goes, this is what I had on the front, and this is what's going on the front now. So I'm going from 163 grams to 324 grams. So I'm going, way sky high rocket over what was on the front. That is rotating weight, so it is harder on the gearing and everything. But as long as you're not beating it or bashing it, in the right environment, crawling it how it's meant to be driven, that's where the durability is gonna shine for the price that you pay for this. So let's get right into the build here. So just gonna do a real quick weigh in here before I get started. So this is with the factory axles on it. I did put a couple weights here on, just some stick-on weights around various parts of the chassis here, just to get a little bit better frontward weight. So we're at unit here, kilograms, pounds. So we're at almost 5 pounds on the dot. I would call that 5 pounds on the dot. So that's what the factory axle's on. So one thing that I will say right off the bat that I do not like about the design of the Redcat Gen8 axles, in order to fully remove the actual shock, you have to completely take off the entire outer portal box. And inside this little hole is it's the same exact size as a set screw for like a pinion gear, a spur gear. So it's just a tiny little baby Allen in the way down, buried deep in the depths of that hole in there. And I feel like that's not very good for maintenance. It's pretty annoying. And it's probably not the strongest, seeing as it's not a very big screw. So, don't really like that. Good thing we're changing that. So with the front axle off here, I threw it on the scale. It is coming in at 218 grams. That is with all the gears and the hardware, as well as the tail section of the drive shaft itself. I am going to a metal drive shaft, so when I weigh all this stuff, I'll include the tail section of that as well.